Howdy folks, it's Turtle here and welcome back to Microsoft Flight Simulator. It is time for another bush trip from the Canada World Update. Next up on the list is the Canadian Rockies, and I did look through these a little bit, and it looks like this one is going to be moderately challenging. Maybe a little bit of moderately challenging, trying to find these airports and actually landing on them. The approaches don't look too bad, it's just spotting the airport. In fact, maybe the first one is going to be the worst. First and third, maybe. I don't know. I'm going to try to do 2 legs in this video. And actually, you know what? I think it'll be 3 legs this video and 2 legs next video. That's the plan. Hopefully, well, it depends. If we spend a lot of time looking around, and I keep in the narration what I'm doing, I don't know. We'll see. Whatever, I mean, you already know because you're watching this, so you already know how many videos this is split into. I don't know yet. I'm hoping for 3 and 2 though. Yeah, let's see here. I guess we can read about this quickly. The Canadian Rockies, which straddle the Alberta-British Columbia border, is renowned as one of the world's most distinctive and striking mountain chains, part of the greater North American Cordillera, since, or well, maybe it's Cordillera, maybe because it spans from Mexico to Alaska. Cordillera. The mountains of the Canadian Rockies feature numerous glaciers, sheer cliff faces, high mountain lakes, and peaks that rise 12,972 feet above sea level. These mountains attract alpinists, photographers, flight simmers, trekkers, and mountain lovers throughout the globe to bask in their natural magnificence. Venturing to the Canadian Rockies is a humbling experience, whether scaling their heights, hiking beneath any of their ranges, looming massive, or flying amid their airy summits. This bush trip explores the heart of the Canadian Rockies, including those at Jasper National Park, Glacier National Park, the Change Crown, Mount Robson, beginning at British Columbia's Tumbler Ridge Airport, which lies amid rolling forests to the east of the crest of the range. The journey heads into the heart of this alpine wonderland. The route continues south along the spine of the range, soaring amid knife-edge ridges, flying past hanging glaciers, and exploring some of Canada's most rarefied ground before coming to an end at the Cranbrook Canadian Rockies International Airport. Alright, about 3 hours. It'll probably take me about 4 or 5 or 6. I noticed after they changed some of the bush trip coding or whatever, the last bush trip we did not give our total time at the end of the leg. It just gave the last leg time, so I don't know how long the last one took, so we probably won't know how long this one takes either. So anywho, without further ado, let's hop into our Cessna 208B Grand Caravan. Hey, why are we rolling away? Excuse you. What the heck? That was kind of funny. I noticed during the screen where I read all the information, it said 2 hours 45 minutes, but the loading screen for this just said over 4 hours. So we'll see how long this takes us. Something doesn't add up. What do we need to do? Let's see here. Oh boy, they changed all this, which is great. I'm just not used to it yet. Where is my thing? First of all, there's GPS on this one, so I guess we'll use the GPS for the first leg. Those of you who have never seen a bush trip with me, we normally do the first leg or so with GPS, and then we'll leave the sim, come back and do it manually navigating because you lose GPS. But the previous bush trip we didn't lose GPS, so I don't know, I'll probably end up hand flying anyway, because once you're in the mountains, GPS puts you in the worst spots, so I'm sure I'll just end up hand flying anyway. But we'll have to see here. Anyway, without further ado, I wanted to get the wind up, even though it doesn't do a whole lot. Where is it on here? There's timer, yeah. We know how that works. That's not unusual. Don't care about the map. Usually it says, here you go, PDF. Options 3. I'm having a hard time looking where the click spot is here. Alright, PFD, there you go, no wind data, blah, blah, blah. Okay, good. Now, as far as altitude, I don't know, we're already up 3,000 feet. I'm probably going to end up hand flying, but let's go 2,000 above what we are now. For now, we'll make changes later. Why is my altitude thing spinning? Isn't this the altitude thing? Have I lost my mind? Oh, maybe if I use, you know, the altitude selector on the autopilot, that might help. I keep thinking of the other planes. So 3,000 where we at? Let's do 5,500 for now. Then we'll make adjustments as we need to. Flight director, maybe we'll use nav GPS, and vertical speed will go up a very steep 1,000 feet per minute. Very simple stuff, right? I don't think I need to talk about anything else. I mean, we do this all the time, but I know not everybody watches every single bush trip, and my brain is kind of foggy today, so I'm just kind of doing the best I can here. Stall. That doesn't turn on. Okay. I guess they change sometimes what's usable. Okay, cool. Alright, anyway, so what I do, got the timer ready, got autopilot set up, right? Same thing, different day. Altitude, we'll follow GPS since we can, I guess. Otherwise, we'll navigate manually if we need to. And I think we still have enough runway, even though it totally rolled us forward about 100 feet. Very good. Looks beautiful, though. Oh, I love that water along the runway. That's really cool. Dangerous if you were to hit it in real life, but I love it. Flaps down 1. Yes, let's read about what we're doing. Let's get going. Okay, here we go. Headed to Kilo 7 Murray River from Tumbler Ridge Airport, fly southwest, passing over the Sincano pit of the Quintinet coal mine. Visually pick up the river at the mine and follow to where it makes a turn to the south. Okay, so that's 215 degrees for 4.5 minutes. Which is basically following GPS as it should be. So right there, right? That's where we get to the river and pick it up. Then we'll read about what's next, right? And if we had to, we do have reverses in this, by the way, right? I'm pretty sure we do. Yep. I forgot what I was going to say. Are we going to go here? That was weird. Okay. Yeah, so I mean, because we can, we'll follow GPS for this leg, and then if we lose GPS in subsequent legs, then we will manually navigate. I've done hundreds of legs of these now, mostly manually navigating, so brakes stop the wheels, by the way. So if we get to use GPS for a little bit, I'm not going to complain. We've proven ourselves 100 times over. Looking out the window, flaps coming up. Looking out the window. Those trees look very strange with the white on them. Not sure what that's all about. Anyway, let's turn to follow our GPS. I have a feeling a lot of this will be hand flown. Doesn't need to be, but I have a feeling it will be. Plus, it's more fun. It's just my videos become longer when I hand fly, that's all. And we have less looking out the window, because we can use this to look out the window, but then the HUD pops up because you can't turn off the HUD because all the options are locked, kind of like a mini game. In free flight, I do turn that off. But in order to get this view, this is the drone view. The problem with that is my drone controls are my yoke and my pedals, so I have no control of my airplane right now. It's doing whatever it wants. So we can't really use that view much unless we're using autopilot, but then autopilot might smash us into a mountain. Right? Oh, I didn't start my timer. That's because we know where we're going. Let's start it anyway. Whoop! What happened there? Hello? I don't want to do... How'd that end up down there? Get back to the top, please. There we go. Start. Now just make it 4 minutes. Okay, cool. Alrighty, let's see, what are we doing? We're pretty much already at cruising altitude. Let's turn on autopilot just to see if it does work for us in this scenario. And let's hop outside. Ooh, wait a second. Let's look at this coal mine that we're flying over. Look at that. Perfect. Right over the coal mine. Ooh, there's a dam there too. And then the newer versions of Minecraft, coal is not ground level. It's up in the mountains, which I guess we are up in the mountains, aren't we? Look at that though. Look at this. All the like water stuff. Oh my gosh, that is so cool. Let's just take a second and enjoy this, because this is really cool. Huh. That's a good way to start the flight. But we are flying an airplane. We want to make sure we don't crash into the mountains, because we are below terrain, and that's on purpose. Because it's more fun to fly below terrain than it is to fly above terrain in the mountains. Because we are bush flying, not commercial flying. I guess you could fly commercially bush style, but you know what I mean, right? We're not at 36,000 feet in a tube liner. We're bush flying. Alright, looking at the map, it looks like we're going to be fine with altitude, perhaps. It does pick up a little bit here. You might have to hand fly the, yeah. See, this is why I wanted to hand fly. Because we can avoid all this stuff. So let's do this instead. Let's do heading bug and put this over to heading. And then bring the heading over a little bit to the right. Oh yeah, that's right. It tells you your trajectory now. That is so cool. So now we know we're going to go down the valley. See? And that's how we'll do this. At least for now. We might actually have to hand fly later. But for right now, we'll do heading bug. So you can stay nice and low and look at everything. So normally what I do is a sightseeing thing where I make a cut. You watch sightseeing for a couple minutes or so while I condense the time by cutting stuff out. But because we're going to have to be making constant changes, you wouldn't get more than 2 or 3 or 5 seconds of sightseeing. So I will make cuts, but you have to listen to my voice all the time. So there you go. That's how we'll do this one. And hopefully we don't crash into stuff. Right? Alright, we're looking good there. So let's take this and scoot around the mountain like this. See? See how slick that's going to be? Just like hand flying, except now we can look outside. And we get ourselves a screenshot, like for a thumbnail. And we can enjoy the scenery together. Beautiful. Just beautiful. Look at that. Isn't that so cool? And we're about to reach the first thing I said to read about, which was picking up the river. So what is next? Now we're going to go for another 5.5 minutes or so, 5 minutes, and follow the course of the river to Monkman Lake. So let's take our heading thing. Can I get it from here? I can. Cool. It does pick it up. So I can see whoop, not really. I want to be able to see everything at once, but I guess we're not going to be able to. So let's just keep going like this. Use the trajectory so we know where we're going to end up. That is so cool. And not hit the mountains. We are much further away than it looks, but I do not want to jump straight up like 12,000 feet and go over everything, because that gets boring. We have done it that way though. We've done it all different ways. We've done it all different ways. It's just, this is how I want to do it this time. Alright, let's get back on track here. Follow our trajectory. And look outside. Actually, let's look. How are we doing here? We got plenty of speed. Oh yeah, we're good. Okay. Whoop. See how the GPS takes us right into the mountain? So we want to go around the mountain, down the river. Ta-da. See, gotta be careful, because the autopilot is very literal. It'll do what you tell it to do. And if you tell it to follow a pink line, it will follow the pink line, even if there's a mountain in the way. So you gotta be very, very careful. Beautiful looking river though. And we gave ourselves plenty of space along the mountain side. Cool. Alrighty, let's make some adjustments and head a little more towards the line, but still avoiding collisions. And where's our next thing? It's up there. Okay, cool. What a view is that? That is just amazing. Oh, what a great way to do this trip, nice and low like this. It's just fabulous looking. Just amazing. Look at all the little lakes and ponds. I'm really enjoying looking out over here. And then what we're going to do then is, this wants us to go here, which is the lake, and then go up to the tip of this mountain. But we're not going to go to the tip. We're just going to go through here and stay nice and low while we look at the mountain. Right? Then we'll just head over here and look at that mountain. We'll stay in this valley. We're not going to go up, because I think it's like 10,000 feet. We don't need to go that high, because we can see what we're looking at from here. So we're going to look for this lake, which is like probably right here, I think. And then we'll just follow the valley. Pretty straightforward. Just gazing around at the different terrain features and the roads and everything. Looking down the other valleys. Ooh, look at that ridge right there. That's really cool. This ridge along the river. Look how quickly the train picks up. It actually makes it a bit tricky. and dangerous, but still fun. And there's our lake we're looking for, Monkman Lake. So we need to be careful because we don't want to run into the stuff around us, but at the same time, we want to keep it interesting. So let's start going back towards the lake a little bit and read about the next POIs 3 and 4, because they're going to be mountains we're just going to look at. I want to be navigating, not running into things. So first we're going to look for Mount Vreeland from the lake. Sight Mount Vreeland to its south, which will be right around this corner. We're not going to fly to its 8,000 foot peak. We're just going to look at it from where we are. It's at the northern extent of the high glaciated portion of the Canadian Rockies, and in the Mishkinstinka ranges of the Hart Ranges. And right after that is Ice Mountain, fly over Monkman Provincial Park. Then there's Ice Mountain. Yeah, you can read about this if you want to. You can pause it, sight the mountain in the distance. The peak is 7,600 feet. We're not going to the peak, we'll just go by it. And then when we get there, we'll read about Mount Knutson, which is off there. So there's Vreeland, Ice something, whatever it said, Ice Mountain, and then the next one is off the map. But we're going to fly through here, so we don't have to climb very much. We might have to climb there a little bit, we'll see. So anyway, it looks like a tighter fit than it is. It would be easier to hand fly through here than to use the heading bug. But we're going to use the heading bug so we can get some outside views. There we go. Just going to do a little S-curve through here, relying on the GPS more than I would like to, but we're going to. Let's take advantage of the trajectory thing here and get us around this corner safely. There we go. Bam. And there is the mountain, right? Well, let's see, based on our orientation, it's quite a bit off to the right. So it's probably, Vreeland is probably right there, that peak right there. And then Ice Mountain is going to be probably one of those peaks over there. Probably this one. Let's hop outside to see how cool this is. Oh dear, I could have flown us to the right a little bit more, but that's okay. Just beautiful. We haven't had a mountain flight like this in quite a while. So it's fun to be doing one now. And we're about ready to make our turn to the left in just a moment here. So there's your Ice Mountain right there. It's pretty obvious now that we're coming around the bend. And again, it looks like we have a really tight fit through here, but we don't. And this is going to not change us, so we can't use autopilot with GPS if we wanted to now, because it would get mad at us for not following the line perfectly. I guess we could tell it to skip stuff, but I don't know the new Garmin stuff that well to tell it where to skip stuff when you have like a predetermined flight like this. So instead we're just going to enjoy it this way using heading bug. There you go. There's your mountain back there. Boom. Pretty obvious now. The nice mountain, pretty obvious now. And then in a moment we'll read about the next one once we skirt through here. Nice and tight. Doesn't look much different than Minecraft terrain, does it? Oh, this is awesome. I'm glad we're doing it this way. It will make for a longer video, but that's okay. You've been warned, right? These videos will be a bit longer than my normal bush trip videos, because we're going to keep a lot of this in, right? I don't want to cut it much of this out if I don't have to. This is kind of the point of a bush trip through the mountains, so why would I want you to miss it? Alrighty, we're about to get to Ice Mountain, which is right here behind the pillar. Right here. So let's navigate through here while we try to read about the next place we're headed. Ooh, what do we got coming up here? Okay, we're going to have to gain altitude, because I'm not going to like spider web. Like, we could go here, turn here, go out to here, come back here. We're not going to do that. That would add like literally an hour to our trip. So we got to climb. Let's climb to 8,000 just to be safe. And vertical speed. Hello, up please. Let's do 1,000 feet per minute again. I haven't been starting and stopping the timer, whatever. And let's go a little bit to the left for right now. There we go. Alright, Ice Mountain is to our right. Actually, we're passing it right now. So let's read about what is next as we thread the needle here through this. What is coming up next? Mount Knutson. Continue on a southeast heading, passing over 2 rivers and sight Mount Knutson, 8,000 feet above sea level. A good visual reference. Oh, Knutson Lake. Good visual reference lies just to the northwest of Mount Knutson. Alrighty, make sure the barometer is accurate, and it is. So we're going to clear it based on the altitude we've selected. I don't know if that's really true though, but we're going to right here thread the needle. Then we will keep our altitude for now, but we'll go around the mountain. Although at our altitude we're supposed to be above it, I don't trust it. So we're going to thread this needle here and then just kind of stay along this path here, and then just cut through here. We should be higher than all this, and then we'll end up with one more interest, and then our probably the most challenging airport of all of them will be the first one, which is fine. We'd rather get it out of the way. So anyway, so yeah, okay, let's go a little bit this way to be safe. There we go. So we're looking for Mount Knutson and Knutson Lake, which is right there. And then when we get there, we'll read about the next best thing, but we have a ways to go, and I really don't feel like we're going to cover all this terrain or clear it all, even though we're above what it said it should be. It never goes that way, right? Like, it'll be like, highest peak in the area is 11,300 feet, and we'll be 14,000 and we still won't clear it. So we'll have to see. I might, maybe let's go to 9,000, just enough to think about it. And then does it say how higher? Let's see. Sight the mountain, airport. Yeah, our airport's going to be a good 7,000 feet up too, probably. So we will maintain our altitude. So there goes the end of skirting along the valleys already, but that's just the way it works out. And we did enough of it already earlier, and we'll go back to it later. So there we are, threading the needle, plenty of altitude between us and the train, as it should be. Not much wind taking control of us, which is kind of interesting, to be honest, because in real life I think we'd have a lot more wind. Maybe not. Maybe they tone the winds down on purpose for these bush trips. But if we were doing free flight, it'd be insane. Who knows? Anyway, we came through here along the ground, and now we climbed a little bit, and we will stay at our altitude for now, so I don't have to go zigzagging in and out of these valleys. But we may return to valley flying later, we'll see. But Mount Knutson, I assume, is right there. So that's where we're headed. So far, so good. And we'll look for that lake when we get nearby, too. And for an update, that must be the lake right there. And sure enough, there it is, as it's supposed to be. So I think we will turn just shy of the lake and keep going this way. And what was after Mount Knutson? We're headed for Narrowway River, turn to the east. Fly just north of Pasuka Mountain, directly over a horseshoe-shaped lake. Hang on, let me first get us, whoops, going over this way here. And we'll go over a horseshoe-shaped lake. And doing too many things at once. Then what? Maintain course, begin to slowly lose altitude and pass just to the north of the Intanis Mountain, flying over a series of small lakes, and then sight the Narrowway River at its confluence with Hannington Creek. Or just look at your GPS. So we're looking for a horseshoe-shaped lake, which won't appear when we are zoomed out that far, but we're headed this direction. Again, we're just gonna go over all this since we're good enough for altitude. Or are we? Remember, it said 7,000 feet, right? And we're at 9,000, and look at us. We're barely gonna cover this. So the data that they get for their description doesn't always match the data in the sim, obviously, because what are we at right now? We are at 9,000 feet, and it said it's 7,200. And I know mountains are farther away and bigger than they look, but I really don't think we're 1,800 feet above that mountain. I really don't think so. So, do we have enough altitude for the rest of it? We will see. We'll keep going where we are. Once we get to here, though, we'll find this valley and start coming down. Because then we can take this valley down and around to our airport. But for right now, we need to get to this point before what? Wait, was it the next point? Yeah, we have to get to that point before we can come down. So we'll have to see how it goes. Pretty iffy, if you ask me. And the train generation isn't catching up. The detail is not catching up to us. Again, that's a server thing. We'll thread this needle here and zigzag around this one if we have to behind it. But I do not want to get any more altitude. So after we look for the river, we're going to look for Sherman Meadows in the distance. Fly just to its south, passing from British Columbia into Alberta. In the distance, gain a visual on the Torrens River. Just to the east of the river lies the airport. Yeah, we'll see. We'll see how that goes. I want to go here and see if it gives us airport elevation. We're just going to kind of go this direction. Which one are we looking for? Foxtrot or Kilo 7, not X-Ray 7. Oh, here we go. Kilo 7 right here. I'm not going to click back on track. I'm not going to click the map thing. I just want to click on the airport and see what it says. Sherman Meadows, 3,676 feet. So 3,600 feet is our elevation we're looking for, which would be there in real life if we were doing this. So I don't know why it took this long for them to get that into the sim. In fact, it's a third-party thing that got that into the sim. So whatever. It's not a mod I'm running. I'm going to be mod-free as long as possible, but third-party helped the simulator get into the sim. So anyway, one more thing to cross, which is this. And then we can start following the valley and work our way down to 30, or about 4,000 feet, 4,200 feet or so for our approach. I guess it could turn down through here. Let's do that. This way, please. Let's turn down here. A sharp, sharp turn. Whoop. And then we'll catch this valley down. We're missing this, aren't we? Yeah. I like this. Whoa. Oh, gall. Let's see what that looks like. Oh, it's fine. It's fine. Whoops. Does it overshoot our valley? Oh, there's that valley there. Never mind. I just chose different valleys. Let's split the difference. Go right over the top of this one because we can, right? Why not? Why not be crazy a little, huh? There we go. I was going to take this valley around, but instead we'll just head right there since we're already high enough. Yeah. So we're going to follow this valley in, and then there's a horseshoe lake over here to look at, and then follow it more, and then there's a runway 3,600 feet above the ground, or above sea level. Or 4,000 feet below us. No, wait, 3, 4, 5,000 feet, 5,400 feet. Yeah, see, if we followed this, we'd have to keep like our 7,000 feet and then come down in a hurry and circle. But so we're just going to go through here and come around and see what it looks like. We're really going to need a reference image, aren't we? Hill, okay, so it's parallel to the valley, so it's probably going to be this direction like this. So that'll be perfect. Just come around the mountain, land. We'll see. We will see. Alright, starting our slow descent now. We'll go down to 7,200 feet for now, and then step it down to 5,000 after that. Just keep an eye on our speed here. I want to make sure we don't overspeed, obviously, but I also want to take advantage of that buffer to descend. Just keep an eye on the little purple predictive line, make sure it doesn't go into the red. That might be a little aggressive. Anywho, very casual, very simple. I feel like it's taking forever, but it isn't. It's just the vastness of everything makes you feel like you're going much more slowly than you really are. And there's the river we're supposed to pick up. There we go. It starts over there. They wanted us to pick it up here, but we're going to pick it up here. Just so we can stay below train level. Wow. I love the tree line where trees cannot grow above that line. Super cool. And think of all the wildlife living down there that you can't see. Just take a little square like this. And think of all the big wildlife, small wildlife, all the stuff you just can't see. It's just teeming. Just teeming. Whoops, wrong way. Here we go. Getting closer here. Make a slight course adjustment to stay along the river. And looking back, yeah, see where I pointed with the mouse when we were outside? That's where they want us to pick up the river, just like I said. But we're making our own rules because we can. Alright, let's bring this all the way down to 5,000. That's when we'll take over by hand. And oh my, our speed is getting kinda close here, so let's redo the vertical speed and let's go down 800 or 900 feet per minute. That's fine. Keep an eye on that speed though. We don't want to overspeed because then the airplane will crash and we have to redo the leg. If you look at the airport here, we are coming up pretty quickly, so I am going to take over by hand. Probably sooner than I thought I was going to. Because yeah, it's just literally right around this bend right there. And I said 3,600 feet, so we'll see if that's in agreement with the sim, though. I just realized that 3,600 feet could be like real life data, and if the sim is off a little bit, that could be like lower than ground level, right? I didn't think of that. I'm not sure where that data came from. Alrighty, yeah, let's just hand fly now, I think. Just because we can. Flight director off, we don't need to look at that. There we go. Let's actually follow this river. And then where this river meets the other one right here, we'll follow that river in. And then hopefully get a better visual. You know, because I'm pretty sure the runway is parallel to the river. So we want to have as much base as we can so we can spot it and slow down. And of course we do have reversers. We don't have to land at the very tippity tip of the runway. But I panic and I do. But hopefully we won't this time. Alrighty, our last outside view was going to be with the HUD because I'm using my controls, so I can't use the drone. There we go. I think that's to reset that one. Yep. Okie dokie. There's a river going through there, I believe. I don't totally like to rely on GPS so much, but I end up doing it anyway. But that's okay. We don't know the area, right? If we knew the area, no big deal, but we don't know the area, so we use the tools that are available for us. Granted, this would be impossibly difficult if we only had the VFR map. Not impossible, we've done it before, but it's exhausting. Alrighty, let's go up along here. And we'll follow the river in. And I think that's the runway right there. I think we spotted it already, so let's head that direction. And we'll get the flaps down early and slow down early to buy us as much time as we need. Yeah, that's definitely the runway. How are we going to get in there? Got to remember, there's more room than it looks. It's just because of the vastness of the mountains, it feels impossible, but it's not impossible. That is actually a very, very long runway for this airplane. We have reversers, all that stuff, so we'll be good. So let's start slowing down now to buy us as much time as possible, and we'll come off this road right off the nose. You see that road? Alrighty, here we go. I'm starting to panic a little bit. I really want to look around, but we know what happens if you look around even for a second. It can really mess you up. Alrighty, when can we get into flap range? Because we're coming in pretty hot. I don't want to go around. There we go. First set of flaps. That'll also slow us down. Flaps are not brakes, but they do kind of work that way sometimes. We're just going to follow this road, land on I don't know what parts of the runway. We have 2 or 3 sets of flaps in this. I don't know. I can't remember. I think it's 2, maybe it's 3. I don't know. But anyway, nose down for speed. Throttle so we don't crash into the ground. We do not need to land at the near tippity tip. We can land 3/4 of the way down and still have plenty of time to stop in this aircraft. So I'm just reminding myself I do not need to panic. Wow, it takes a lot of throttling at full flaps out. Oh, look at that crosswind. Ooh. Oh. How strong is that crosswind? strong enough that the sim does something. Okay, we're gonna have to do left wing down, right rudder, firm land, or plant the left main, right main, and then the nose wheel. See, again, I want to panic and land on those trees, but we have way more than enough space. We can land 3/4 of the way down and we'll be good. So do not clip those trees. Get ready for the crosswind component. Left wing down, right rudder. Crab it more. Oh my gosh, that's a strong wind. Oh, this is going to be rough. Okay, not that much. Oh boy, okay, here we go. Come down. There we go. Get ready on the reversers, which we can't engage until we've touched down. I've learned if I do them early, then it won't engage. There we go. We don't even need reversers. We'll use them though. Touch down gently and release, and reversers and brakes, and flaps coming in. Get centered. All right. Okay, so I know that looks like okay, basic landing, whatever. But if you saw what I was doing to make it look simple, I was fighting the crosswind, crabbed it in my left main touch. It was all textbook perfect, except I was loaded to the right. So if it looks smooth and easy, no big deal, that means I did a good job, because that was crazy. I had almost my full right rudder down, a lot of left aileron. I touched the left main down, released it, went straight line. That is like the most proud landing I've had in like 5 years. I'm not joking. And it looked like no big deal. So there you go. First leg, when that's edited down, the video shouldn't be too long yet, so let's move right on to the second leg. Here we go. Your aircraft has been refueled. Well, thank you very much, everybody. We will take off in the direction we're facing, so we are going to have to back taxi, but that's okay. We'll take care of that in a second here. Let's see, we're just headed out that direction. How long is this leg? Does it say? 20 minutes, not a big deal. Okay, cool. What are we headed to? Cav 4, which is out there. So what is this going to look like? Can we do, we can't really do much valley flying. We can just start, but then we can kind of stay in this valley. So we might have to climb this one out. We might have to. We'll see. I do want to go this heading though, so I'm going to come over here, hit heading now. So we use that heading for autopilot. Flight director, heading. I think we got to shoot back up to like 8,000 feet. I honestly do, because we're at 3,600 now. Let's go up to 8,000. Does it say anything in the nav log about altitude? 78. Oh, we need to, 10,000 for POI 9. Well, we're not going to go. We'll stay. Our highest point will be here, because we'll probably, well, maybe we'll fly this valley, because we'll see these peaks. We'll see that lake from here, and we'll see that peak. So maybe we'll stay in this valley, so we don't have to go 10,000 feet. What's after that? I mean, we might zigzag through here, because I'm going to come out here. So, okay, let's start at 8,000. We'll see if 8,000 will be good enough. I want to have enough time here to see what's ahead. Let's start 8,000. Maybe that's too much. Maybe we don't even need 8,000. I don't know. Nah, 8,000 feels good. Let's do 8,000. 1,000 feet per minute. Come on, man. There we go. 1,000 feet per minute. There we go. Barometer set. And first set of flaps down. Let's read about what we're doing. We'll back taxi here. Mount Gorman, lift into the sky in sight. Mount Gorman, directly in front of us. You can see right there. Bam, it's this right off. Well, we'll see it once we take off. So it'll be right in front of us. We're going to go a little bit around it. And then from there, we're going to look at Jarvis Lakes to the southwest. And getting out to the lakes are clearly visible from the east-west line, which means we won't see them until I get next to them. So we'll look for all these lakes. We'll fly alongside of them, but I'm not going to directly over them. And then from there, we'll look for Mount Sir Alexander, 10,700 feet up. You can pause and read this if you want to, but it's at the crest of the Rocky Mountains in this area. Let's see, northernmost mountain, tall and 510.5 above sea level. Increase altitude, we're not going to increase altitude because we're not going to go over it. We will see the dramatic glacial Ike and peak from the side. How about that? And then once we get to the mountain, we will read about the rest of it. So we go out here, fly around this valley, look for the mountain, the lakes, and then the mountain, and then we'll see what we're going to do after that once we get there. Very simple. Let's go to our taxi view. Burn a U-turn here. Is parking brake on? That's weird. Alrighty, we'll make a U-turn, we'll take off. And I finally applied things I've been telling myself for the past 20 bush trip legs about not landing at the tippity tip of the runway, because it's not necessary. You risk clipping the trees and then slamming into the ground. We had plenty of space. You saw we landed halfway down and stopped halfway down, so we had plenty of space. And then that was an amazing crosswind landing. You couldn't even tell. So if you can't tell, I'm so proud of that landing. It's about time to have a good landing like that. Shouldn't be so hard on myself, but still. But anyway, the big takeaway is that I learned, finally, applied, do not land at the tippity tip of the runway. Don't need to. There's plenty of space. And I finally figured it out. So here we go. Let's stay out of the swampy area here. No need to go that far over. But we'll turn around, take off, and then keep on flying. There's one more possibly challenging airport, but the rest of them shouldn't be too bad. This was the hardest one, so I'm glad to get that out of the way. I prefer it like that. Alrighty, let's hop inside. Whoa, can't do much from that view. Turn around here, and we'll do a turn and burn, GA style, although we don't need to. Whoops, okay, don't burn until you've turned. There we go, bam. Let's get back in the middle here. There we go. Whoop, come on, you can do it. Airspeed is well alive, plenty of space. We will ride it out as long as we can here though. And up we go. Just like that. Brake to stop the wheels. Flaps coming in. Gain some speed. And rely on GPS to follow this valley here without hitting these trees just below us. I will say that departure was a little more advanced than I made it out to sound. There we go. Bam. Let's fly out this way. Follow our heading bug that we set for ourselves. Look at the river down below, the terrain thousands of feet above us. Very nice. Alright, let's engage autopilot just so we don't get tired. There we go. We're just going to follow this valley, look for a mountain, look for the lakes, and then we'll just see how it's going to go. And I'm not worried about navigation of the timer because we do have the GPS thing. Fine, whatever. We'll take advantage of it because we have it. And there's our mountain right here behind that one. As you can see, it should come more into view once we get around this corner. And then we'll look for the lakes and we'll be on our way. But for right now, let's look behind us and see how we departed. Not too bad. Either way would have been a good approach. And it looks like it's getting deeper and deeper into the Canadian Rockies from here, which I'm not going to complain about. It'll be nice to have an interesting bush trip. The previous one wasn't all that interesting, but anyway. Here we go. Can we find our mountain? Where's the mountain? What's that weird sound I hear? The mountain is right there. Bam. And then we'll look for the lakes. Cool. Very, very simple. And now we're in this big old valley thing in front of us, which is really cool, especially because you can see the tree line. See the perfect tree line where trees can't grow. Huh, this is really cool. We just kind of broke out of it. We came out from around this corner, there's the airport. And then we came out through here, and all of a sudden there's this really cool looking valley thing. Anyway, yeah, I mean, obviously there is, but so we're going next to our mountain now. I guess we could look at it. There we go. There's our mountain. And then we're going to head to the lake still, but I want to make sure we clear this terrain before we make our turn. I guess we are clear of it. Come on, this way, please. Let's go this way. We'll see the lakes to the side, and then we'll just keep following this until we see our mountain, which we already read about. Mount Sir Alexander. And then once the GPS moves down, we'll see what we're looking at up ahead, and we'll talk about it as we get there. Oh, there you go. We can see Mount Alexander right there. Very, very obvious. And then the lakes are right here. You can see them already. And there you go. Perfect east-west view of the lakes. You wouldn't be able to see it from this direction, so that's pretty cool. The mountain is directly in front of us. That hasn't changed from a second ago. And then there are some lakes in front of us, and we will follow this here towards the mountain, I think. And then we might have to gain some altitude after that. Let's see here, we have a moment to look. No, we can zigzag around, we can make a little turn here. Well, then we're going perpendicular to all of them, so... Oh, then you gotta dump down. I don't want to go down through here, that would take way too much time. But if we go over gain altitude and I have to come down, we're going to have to do a bunch of spiral to land. I think I'd rather spiral to land. So I think we're going to have to gain some altitude. So let's see, we'll follow this around. Actually, if we start gaining altitude now, then we can just go over there. Okay, so we gotta do a little bit of planning. Let's start our climb, and then we'll read about how far we should really climb. Hello. Let's see, what are we at now? 8, oh gosh. Let's go up to 11. And then we'll read about what we're actually, 11.5 since we're there. Then we'll read about what we're actually looking at. Let's do 700 feet per minute. Okay, so there's a lake in front of us, not the one we're looking at. Sir Alexander's right there. After Sir Alexander, we're looking at Knox Peak. What? That's only 7,600 feet. But we're at 8,002 now, and there's no way in heck we're going to clear all this. Well, let's just climb, and then we'll step it down as we need to. So then there's Knox Peak coming up. We'll look for that when it comes up on the GPS. Then Fraser River, Ghostal Peak, past to Ghostal Peak inside the Fraser River. And that was back in the valley, and then we get to come down. So it looks like 7,500 feet coming out of that range. So we'll go up for now to clear this, and step down to 7,800 or so. And then we'll spiral to land at McBride Airport, which would be very easy to spot along a wide river and is paved. And again, we can land 3/4 of the way down and still have plenty of room. So McBride, now let's find McBride, if we can. They're just going to respond to me. Come on now. And what is it called? It's Cav 4. Come on. Cav 4 is right here. And what's her altitude? 2,300. Oh, that was nice and low. So 2,300 feet, give or take, depending on discrepancy between this data and the sim data. But 2,300 feet we're looking for. Runway orientation, which for us we're going to probably do runway 3rd. Well, let's see. North is that way. So runway 12 probably. Runway 12 at 2,600 feet, 2,300 feet. Okay, that's what we'll aim for. Anyway, we're going to keep climbing here just so that we can be safe over this stuff and then whatever else is over there. Let's adjust our heading now. There we go. And Sir Alexander is right there. And we're headed off into this mess. We'll just step it down, and there's a big valley out there somewhere. Oh, there's a mountain peak before that, though. There's Knox Peak before that. Alright, we'll just have some look-sees outside while we go by Sir Alexander right there, off the wing to the right. A lot of glacial activity, as was described in the nav log. Got some rivers. I don't think we really had to come this high, but why not? There's that big wide valley we flew over. We will be stepping it down soon because our valley's right. Actually, you can see the valley right there, and then the airport. But we want to play it safe. And we want to be safe. Otherwise, just up in the mountains, being kind of crazy and wild for a turtle, but that's what we're doing. And making a big course change here before we head towards our valley. Again, nothing terribly spectacular, but you can see our valley here now coming in, and it'll go off back here. Ooh, let's look at our altitude a second. We're 11.5, right? And it said these peaks were 7,500. And to step down, very interesting. Well, we'll see what happens after this, because that right there is this here. So we'll see what happens. We might not be able to step down until the end, which will be a big, long spiral approach. But if that's what we got to do, that's what we got to do. It's looking more right now like a painting below us than it is real life, although real life can look like a painting too. So I have been in the mountains before, and it does look like you're looking at a painting, and I actually have real life photographs that look more like paintings, but I don't know, we'll see. It's okay. It's 7 out of 10 quality for me. Maybe it's 6 out of 10, mainly because I don't think this is rendering in fully right now. See, look at that. The servers just can't keep up sometimes. Anywho, we're just still chugging along, chug along. So I put us with Knox Peak right there, which is 7,500 feet, but the stuff around it is even taller. And here's our huge valley. So I think what we're going to do, we'll get to Knox Peak and we'll actually cut over here more sharply, just so we have more time to come down. But I think that's what they're calling it, right? Knox Peak, yeah. And then Fraser River right here, you can't quite see it. So if you want to get a visual, that's what we're doing. So we're going to cut across here now, just so that we have more time to come down. And then we'll meet up with the river, but we'll meet up with the river over here, like this. Okie dokie. So let's have our nice banking view, and there's our big wide valley we've been looking for. And then over here, Knox Peak is right here, literally this thing right there. And then we will aim right for the highest part of the whole range. That's funny. That's not what I meant to do. Let's see, it's right there. Let's come down. Yeah, let's go like that a little bit. There we go. As soon as we get over this, we'll go right down to 2,600 feet, I think. This is the runway, so we'll go like 3,200. And then we'll hand fly from there. So there we go. Let's do our final circle. Actually, we'll do a final circle once we're in the valley and coming down, but let's do our final circle while we're in the middle here. I have a feeling we're going to go over to those mountains in the next leg, so be prepared for that. Very, very cool. And there's the tallest thing that we saw that we have plenty of space to get over. So let's start our descent. Now we will hand fly very soon, but let's just get this started. So let's aim for 3,200 feet because the runway, I believe, is at 2,600 feet or 2,300 feet. And then we will be plenty good. Your vertical speed nose down. Let's do a pretty steep 800 feet per minute. Be careful on that speed so we don't overspeed. And we should be good here. We're plenty over the ridge enough that we can start coming down. And there is the road and the river, and I don't see the runway yet. What did that reference image look like, I guess? Reference image, and I mean, it's next to the road and the river. In a forestry patch, but we'll just fly straight in. Again, runway 12. So there we go, 120 degrees, pretty straightforward. I don't see it. Maybe that's it. No, it's closer to the river. I don't know. I'm sure it'll be obvious once we're in line with it. Probably right there. Probably. I don't know. Why am I pretending? I have no idea. Until we line up with it, I'm not going to see it. So, anywho, there we go. Flying into the valley. Pretty straightforward. Let's do our final look around outside now, because we will be taking over by hand soon. So, just checking things out. I still don't see that runway. I'm trying too hard. We'll find it. We'll find it. So we're coming out of some high parts of the Rockies. There's our Sir Arthur thing. And then we'll be going back in. I mean, we're within the Rockies, but we're coming out of one tall line. We'll go into the next one. Alrighty, cool. Let's prepare to take over by hand here. And making our turn. Looking for the runway. I don't see it. Not sure where it is. Let's bring back speed. Let's take over by hand. And let's find the airport. Alright, do you see it? 'Cause I don't see nothing. Nothing at all. So let's get a little bit lower to the ground maybe? And see if we can find this airport somewhere around here. Well, look at that strip of grass. It doesn't look like an airport, but it does look like, let's see, do we see the airport yet? There's us. There's the runway. There's a curlicue thing. I guess it could be because there's water and a hump. There's the hump and there's water. And it's perfectly straight before it. That must be it. I was thinking of something much bigger like this. But it's not. It's that. No, that's a road. No, that could be it. Well, let's aim for that. And we'll see if that ends up being it or not. If it isn't it, we'll keep flying around until we find it. I mean, it can't be that hard to find. It's a paved strip next to a river. But we'll enjoy the sights along the way. The little farmhouses and things. And we're way below terrain on both sides. That's so cool. Oh boy, let's keep an eye let's keep an eye on our vitals here. We got kind of slow. Don't need to be that slow that soon. Good grief. Yeah, that's definitely the runway. Okie dokie, no ATC and bush trips, so no one to check in with or anything. We'll just deploy flaps in a moment here. I wanted to see how many flaps we have. We got 1, 2, 1, 2. Looks like in this one, even though looks like it could be 3, but it's 2. Okie dokie, let's look out the window and pay attention to what we're doing though, shall we? The wind is perfectly in front of us. Yay. Not going to worry about a crosswind component for this one. I think we can slow down a little bit though. That might be helpful. Gear's already down because it's fixed. We'll do first set of flaps here in a moment when we come into range. And good enough. There we go. And we'll do second flap in a little bit here. Fighting the float. And the wind coming off the ground is picked up a little bit too. Keep the center of the runway between your legs. That will be centered on the runway. And full flap, although we won't need it. We'll use reversers because they're fun. Keep an eye on that speed. We'll nose down for the speed. Throttle so we don't descend. Super nice and easy. Keep the speed down a little bit. Don't clip those trees. Here we go. Aim for those numbers. And throttles back. Round out a little bit. The ground effects soften us out. Try to find that stall horn. And where's this? There we go. Boom, the reversers engage, flaps coming in on the brakes. Let's get centered again. And there we go. 2 awesome landings at once. Wasn't centered, but with bush trips and bush flying, I just tried to land. I think I said originally we're going to do three legs on this video. Can't remember. Regardless, that's the end of this video. I need to rest my voice and get to bed. So like, subscribe so you know when the bush trip continues, and I'll see you then.